And I think that flicked this switch in me where I was like, okay, fuck you, watch this.
In the end, I don't care whether you love me or you hate me, just as long as I win.
If you can shift from this is hard to no one else will be able to do this, then it flips from being this thing that you're like, oh, poor me, to oh, poor everyone else who's gonna have to fucking try.
Are you an American that's really upset about what the current administration is doing to this country? Keep watching this video, but before I get into it, please search summer sandals and or no King's Day in the search bar so that this reaches more people. June 14th is Donald Trump's birthday. It's also the same day that he's having this extravagant military parade that is going to cost taxpayers millions of dollars. A democracy is supposed to work for the good of its people and its constituents, and unfortunately, in a day like today, in the late-stage capitalism of America, we can see that the government is no longer doing that. Instead, it's really just geared towards people that have money, power, and influence, especially those in corporations. We see this taking effect in many instances within our government, where people are being threatened with losing their health insurance and bills in order for billionaires to receive massive tax cuts. Same thing with SNAP benefits. In a country that claims to now be so pro-birth, or at least in administration, you would think that things like health insurance and SNAP benefits and things that help people in society would be implemented rather than stripped away. And you also have insider trading within Congress, and the president is now having a meme coin that people can buy. I mean, it's just gotten so far out of hand. You have people being detained. There's a multitude of reasons to care about this, and I can make a whole video if that's necessary, but we need to show up for our democracy and the good of this country. It's gotten too far, and it's not going to get any better if we don't do anything now.
My name is Carolina Loya, and I am 21 years old. I have a message, and if you have a couple of seconds or a couple of minutes, please listen to this, as it is important. If you are scared about the things going on in this country, then please let me be the first to say that you are not alone. And second, there is something that you can do. There will be a nationwide protest on June 14th, 2025, meaning that it's going to be this Saturday. Please look up No Kings and search for a protest in your state or near you. We are fighting for the rights of those who have lost their voices in our community through means that were not their own. This includes and is certainly not limited to the people of Palestine, to the LGBTQ community, to immigrants, to women, and many, many more. We are fighting for everyone who is entitled to basic human rights, yet is being stripped of them and their power to fight back. This is not going to get better. It's just going to get progressively worse unless we do something. This is not only in the hands of the few people in our government trying to do what's right. This is also in our hands. All the bloodshed our beautiful earth has been a witness to is a testament to that. So please do better. Stand up, look for a protest, and fight for what's right. Hola, mi nombre es Carolina Loya, tengo 21 años de edad. Tengo un mensaje y me gustaría compartirlo con ustedes. Si tienen algunos segundos, unos minutos, por favor, préstenme atención. Si tienes miedo por lo que está pasando en nuestro país, déjame decirte que no estás solo. Y segundo, déjame decirte que hay algo que tú puedes hacer. Este mes, el 14 de junio, este sábado que viene, habrá una protesta nacional. Por favor, busca No Kings y encuentra una protesta en tu estado o cerca de ti. Estamos luchando por los derechos de aquellos que han perdido su voz en nuestra comunidad por medios que no fueron propios de ellos. Esto incluye y ciertamente no se limita al pueblo palestino, los inmigrantes, la comunidad LGBTQ, las mujeres y muchos, muchos más. Estamos luchando por todos los que tienen derecho a los derechos humanos básicos, pero que están siendo despojados de ellos y de su poder para luchar. Esto no va a mejorar, solo va a empeorar progresivamente. A menos que hagamos algo. Esto no solo está en manos de unas pocas personas en nuestro gobierno que intentan hacer lo correcto. Esto está en nuestras manos también. El derramamiento de sangre en nuestra hermosa tierra ha sido testigo y testamento de esto. Por favor, haz lo correcto. Levántate, busca una protesta y lucha por la justicia.
Are you confused about the June 14th protests? Let me give you all the information in about 45 seconds or less. The first is No Kings, and that can be found at nokings.org. They have about 1,000 sites listed. It is being sponsored by 5051, Common Cause, and tons of other partners. I'm going to wager by about June 14th, they're going to have closer to about 1,500 sites. So again, that's nokings.org. The second is by Women's March, and it is Kick Out the Clowns. They have about 200 sites listed. Some of them are combined with No Kings, but not all. I will be, the week prior to the event, combining both lists into one, as well as gathering all the other ones I can find from across the internet into one list like I do every single week on my Substack. You can find me on Substack, which is K Starling, or The People Dissent. You can also find a link to my Substack, the map, information, and weekly lists at wethepeopledissent.net. Thanks, and happy dissenting.
If you plan on being a part of any protests or any demonstration in LA this week, here's some tips.
Remember to watch your distance and check for your surroundings. The closer you are to law enforcement, the more likely you are to get hit, either with force or projectiles.
Sharp the important phone numbers in your forearm and let your loved ones know where you will be at. Place your phone in airplane mode.
Blocking things or people may result in your arrest, so do it at your own risk.
If you get arrested, ask for an attorney and say nothing.
Ask for your phone call and ask to speak to an attorney. It will eventually be arraigned and you will be assigned a public defender so that you can plead not guilty.
Bring milk for tear gas, umbrellas for identity protection, first aid kit supplies, and to assist with tear gas, bring headgears, helmets, and goggles.
Remember to tape magazines soaked in water around your body to protect yourself from rubber bullets. Leaf blowers are great for blowing gas back where it came from, and traffic cones can be used to diffuse tear gas pellets.
Have children, please keep them safe. It is recommended to just keep the kids home.
If you're going to a protest, please watch this. We are the techie side of TikTok. This is how to secure your devices and your identity while protesting. 1. Do not post on social media about your attendance or your whereabouts. Do not click attending on Facebook events. Cops go through these to make arrests weeks to months after protest. 2. Download the Signal app to communicate with your friends. They encrypt your messages and will automatically delete them after a certain period of time. Disable location services on all of your apps. Most of them track you in the background. But don't put your phone totally on airplane mode so that you can still be reached by your friends. Disable the fingerprint or facial ID lock on your phone. Use passcode only. Cops have been known to force people to unlock their phone using these methods. Write the number of the ACLU or a local lawyer who's supporting protesters on your skin in case your phone dies or gets confiscated. Do not write the number of anybody you know. This can be used to track them and you. Wear a face mask to protect against the virus and against facial recognition software. Cover any distinguishing tattoos or features, including special hair colors, etc. Also blur these features out of the videos that you post of your fellow protesters to protect them too, not just their faces, these features. Leave your phone locked when filming and taking pictures. Wipe metadata from your photos by screenshotting them and posting the screenshots.
Get ready with me as if we were going to a peaceful protest. I am not a styling expert, and this is not comprehensive, but it is based on prior successful looks of mine, combined with some fashion tips from friends in LA and Hong Kong. We're wearing comfy layers, and normally I wear a lot of black, but black can be a little scary, so unless it specifically says black on the invite, we're going with nondescript neutrals because optics are important. We're gonna get our hair out of the way, and we are gonna skip makeup, lotions, and perfumes because harmful chemicals can stick to those. Lab goggles or swim goggles are the ideal eyewear, but if you don't have those, then safety goggles or this little number you have from a festival is better than nothing. We're gonna wear masks for our health, for our immunocompromised friends, to filter pollutants, and because when people take pictures of you without your permission, I find it lends a certain mystique. The only jewelry we're wearing is earplugs. If the party gets really loud, or for our more easily stimulated friends, we have over-ear protection. Heat-resistant gloves, so hot right now. You gotta have a cute and comfy little backpack. Pack snacks, keep your blood sugar up, make a friend, offer your friend almonds. Please stay hydrated. Now, normally I am a reusable bottle girly, but for weight and convenience, I'm bringing plastic, also so that I can give bottles away to other thirsty bitches that I see and pour one out if necessary. But we are ditching plastic for credit cards. We're bringing cash and ID. If you are bringing a phone, keep it off or in airplane mode and turn off Face ID. And remember your password. Protective, comfy footwear, an umbrella in case it rains and you need to repel the elements. Now, if you have a hard hat or a helmet, I would recommend bringing it because I was at a peaceful rally and I saw a photojournalist walking around dazed with a giant goose egg on his head, so protect your melon. Memorize or write down these numbers, but make sure to use indelible marker to write down the emergency contact of someone you want to call in case of emergencies. This is the final look and we would be ready to go. Always go with a buddy or a date, have a meeting spot and emergency plan, stay calm, and remember to keep yourself and your community safe.
So Palantir is being used by the feds to scan the crowds in these protests. In unrelated news, goth-style makeup, especially with very blocky, like spike and, you know, kind of decor on your face, can really confuse facial recognition software. Hair spikes across the face, that kind of thing, makes it difficult to grab identifiable markers. Did you know that your ears, this section here, is as unique to you as your fingerprint? You know, but those cool earrings they have out now, they kind of cover a lot of that stuff. So completely unrelated.
As a community organizer and direct action strategist who has organized and strategized my fair share of blockades and shutdowns, I want to offer up some tips to folks who are outside and on the front lines in LA or Chicago or anywhere where the pigs are conducting these mass deportations. Number one thing is do not go alone. This is why we've been telling people to try to build your political community, find your comrades in struggle, because when we out in these streets, you need not be alone. That makes you very vulnerable, okay? Even if you are alone, you need to try to find friends in the crowd, but be careful because there are also ops in the crowd, okay? And if you don't have no other choice but to be alone and you struggle to engage with strangers, then let someone you know where you're going to be, how long you plan on being there, and plan some type of check-in with that person. Either you call them or they call you by a certain time to make sure that you're straight. Write important information and numbers somewhere on your body where it won't easily rub off. Also write it in ink that won't easily rub off. If you are not organized and trained to, do not engage with the police. I cannot stress this enough. I understand the heat of the moment. I get what you may want to say and do, but do not engage with the police. Leave that to the people who are the designated police liaisons or security or whoever the organizers have put in position to do that work. Do not take it upon yourself to get in their face, to confront them, or to go back and forth with them. Do not. If you see someone being detained and you want to try to help them to prevent it, do not do that alone. De-arresting only works in groups. And I always recommend that you surround the person, right, that you are trying to protect. You basically throw your body over that person like a shield. Again, do not confront the cops. Don't try to push back. Don't try to, don't touch them. None of that. Throw your body around the person. It works better if y'all can form a tight circle or something around the person that is being detained. And this is why, again, this works better in groups, because if you try to prevent somebody from being detained or kidnapped by yourself, ultimately it could just make it worse for that person and you could end up being detained, kidnapped, or worse. Also, you need to familiarize yourself with riot gear and the formations that police take when they are about to ensue a riot. A lot of times riots are started by the pigs. They push the crowd, they agitate the crowd until it turns into a volatile situation, because that gives them the excuse to use excessive force. When they get into a single file line and they got on all of that gear, brace yourself. If you are not prepared for direct contact with them, you need to disperse. Just disperse and try to figure out how to come back later, or just regroup and get yourself to a safe place. If you are not prepared for direct contact with the pigs, when they assume that riot formation, get out. Last but not least, find and follow the lead of the organizers. A lot of times these actions don't just happen. There are organizations and people who spend time planning these things, and they have contingency plans and all of those other things. And a lot of times how things go wrong is that people just show up and start doing whatever they want to do, right? Find these local organizations near you. For Chicago, people should be following organizations like OCAD, right? Find these organizations that post information about knowing your rights and different protest preparation things. There's a lot of information out there and resources out there. Get organized, people. Get organized.
Since this channel is about revolution, I thought I'd give you guys some tips about having one for no particular reason. One thing that's important to know is that most police forces across the country can handle a protest of 10,000 people. However, if, just for the sake of argument, that 10,000 people split up into 10,000 person protests, no police department anywhere in the nation could handle that. So if by chance you find yourself organizing a protest, split it up into equal groups and in different parts of the state, because they won't be able to handle many protests all at the same time. That's how you get things done. And of course, obviously, this is just hypothetical. This is just information to throw out into the ether, completely hypothetical, not talking about current events at all. I gotta protect myself from angering the TikTok gods again. And there's a bunch of ways to organize. Places like Discord. Obviously, nothing is going to be safe from surveillance, but there are places you can organize. And then once you've organized, you can turn off your phone and leave it somewhere else if you just so happen to find yourself in the same area as a protest just by happenstance. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I appreciate your face.
You are going to be risking arrest today. Get a buddy with your full name and your date of birth, a check-in time, and they will call us if you get arrested and they don't hear from you. That way we can wait for you inside the jail, bail you out if it's needed, make sure that you get home safely, maybe get you some advice.
Peaceful protesting is your right. Here's how you navigate police interactions when peacefully protesting. Always stay calm. Take a deep breath. Panic can escalate things, so remember why you're there, to express your rights peacefully. Know that you have the right to peacefully assemble and express your opinions under the First Amendment. Keep in mind that while you can voice your thoughts, hate speech that incites violence is not protected. Stick with your friends. There's strength in numbers. Have a designated meetup spot if you got separated, and maybe memorize a friend's phone number. Record everything. In New York, it's legal to record police encounters under one-party consent laws, so don't hesitate. Pro tip, New York even has a hotline to report police misconduct called the CCRB. Have that number handy. Stay respectful. If approached, calmly explain, you're just there to protest peacefully. A respectful approach can help diffuse tension. Always avoid violence. Stay committed to your peaceful expression. If the vibe feels off or dangerous at any point, don't hesitate to walk away. Your safety should always come first. If you're directly questioned by the police, you can politely decline to answer by saying, I'm exercising my right to remain silent. Protect your peace and know your rights.
So you're at a protest and police decide to riot. Because, first of all, I want to be honest that most escalation at protests is instigated or at least seriously aided by law enforcement. A lot of these that are framed as riots are, in fact, police riots. But here's some things you can do, things to know, things to keep in mind to stay safe if you're at a protest and things go seriously sideways. Number one is that when you're at these events, you should always, whether it is completely calm or not, generally have a feel for what is behind you. And that is because, number one, just good situational awareness. But number two, if things do go sideways, you don't want to be in a situation where police have come up behind you, encircled you, and forced you into a kettle, where they have fully surrounded you and prevented you from, being able to easily leave the area. This goes with always kind of knowing that there's an exit to where you're going, knowing how you're going to get home, knowing where you're going to get back to your car. But keep an eye on where law enforcement is around you. Keep an eye on, especially if they start coming up behind you and you feel like things are going a little sideways. Number two is knowing your own personal risk level. I'm going to make another separate video about this. I've made videos in the past, but know what you're comfortable with. This is not something that everyone is able to stay for. If protests go sideways, if there is suddenly very high risk of injury, arrest, serious detention, anything like that, not everybody's able to stay for that, and that is completely okay. But you need to know early when you personally need to get out. Number three is always have somebody that knows where you are. And particularly if things start escalating, let that person know, let them know exactly where you are, and just try to stay in touch periodically. That way, if you get injured or if you get detained, they have an idea of where you are. And if you are not able to reach out to an emergency contact, they are kind of able to instigate that outreach to tell somebody that they need to look for you or that, you may need to be picked up. Number four is wear a mask. This is good etiquette at any protest because we love avoiding law enforcement surveillance. There is surveillance at a lot of even the most benign, boring, peaceful, quote-unquote, nonviolent protests. But especially if things start to escalate, if you notice a lot of police coming in, wear a mask. You can wear a surgical mask. A gold standard, especially if things are starting to go south, is an N95 because it can help protect you from tear gas. But even something like a bandana is a good start. This also goes for, covering identifiable tattoos, things that could be used to pick you out of a crowd. Number five is if you haven't already, turn off Face ID on your phone. This prevents police from forcing you to unlock it. And it makes it harder to get into your device if your device or you are detained. Number 6, this kind of goes towards knowing where the cops are around you, but know what agencies are present. Because looking towards LA right now, there's a situation where you're less dealing with local cops and you're dealing with things like HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, or DHS, or potentially now the National Guard. These are all folks that if they pick you up, there can be serious consequences, there can be serious charges associated with that. And so when you're interacting with them, you need to take an increased level of care than you would say for your city police department or even state patrol. So know what agencies are around you, and particularly if suddenly a lot of agencies or new federal agencies start showing up, that is a time when things are potentially going to escalate very quickly, very soon, and very severely. So take severe caution. 8 is don't talk to cops. You should never be doing this at protests. Cops are not your friends at protests. Cops are there to control the situation and control you. Cops are there to, even when they are guiding traffic, they are there in the interest of protecting the status quo in the state, and you are there ostensibly protesting it. So do not talk to cops. Do not interact with cops, particularly if you are just an attendee. That is not your role. Cops will try to play the crowd against each other. Do not take what they say as reliable. And so just do not, as much as possible, interact with the police. Number 9 is don't become a leader if you aren't already a leader. This goes for things like don't start anything flashy, like where you get on top of something and start talking. Don't start going out in front of the crowd and trying to hype them up. Basically, because anything like this will make you a target for police. If you are not already a leader, that is also not really your role. And so you don't want to do anything that is going to mark you out for, we need to take care of this person specifically, because that can also happen not just at the protest, but later. There is surveillance footage. If we are in a city, there is surveillance footage that police can access from many, many angles. And so even if they do not arrest you or detain you at the event, they still could come back and do that later. And finally, the last tip is that if you don't already, try to have an emergency contact memorized. Have a phone number, at least one phone number of somebody that you feel like you could call and they would reliably pick up. It's great if that person also knows that you are there at that protest. Have that phone number memorized. You don't want to rely on always having access to your phone, even if your phone just like the battery dies. You want to be able to call somebody from someone else's phone, or worst case, if you're detained, you want to be able to have a phone number in your head to call for assistance so that somebody can get you support, be it jail support, legal support from the outside. That's just some general tips. Let me know if there are specific situations that would be helpful to address, but be safe.
Won't you fly?
11, 5, 9 and 20 miles today, 4, 11, 17, 32 the day before. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war. Don't look at what's in front of you. Boot, 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 moving up and down again. Men go mad with watching them. There's no discharge in the war.
A lot of us are going out to protest for Palestine this weekend. Here's some protest tips. First, the government loves tapping phones at protests via Stingray technology and helicopters. You can make your own government-proof Faraday bag by sealing at least 3 alternating layers of plastic bags and tinfoil around your phone like this. The US government uses mass incarceration as a tool to keep black people from voting by making them felons. If you see cops harassing black or brown people at a protest, physically get in the way. If cops try to harass you, ask, "Am I free to leave?" If yes, then calmly walk away. If yes, ask, "Am I under arrest?" And then, "For what crime?" Give your name and address, then say, "I wish to remain silent, I want a lawyer." If you see someone getting arrested, ask their name and date of birth and write it down. Try to record the arrest as it happens. Call your local chapter of the National Lawyers Guild and give them that info. Good luck at your protest and free Palestine.
Is there? And if you hear this and then go and bend your back, go and bend your knees, baby, shake it to the max. Will the DJ please turn up the bass to the max? Please just rewind, let me shake it to the max.
You should be wearing glasses, no contact lenses. You can wear protective gear and comfortable shoes. Make sure you have cash and an ID on you. Bring snacks and water for fuel, and masks and hand sanitizer.
A lot of you are probably going to be new to protesting. There's a lot of protests coming up. There was one yesterday. So let me give you 3 tips on what to do when you go to a protest, especially when those protests have to do with immigration. Okay, step number 1, you're going to get a Sharpie, and then you're going to write an important phone number on this part of your arm. A lot of us today don't have phone numbers memorized. So if you thought, I'm going to call my mom, guess what? They're going to take your phone from you. How are you going to contact them? And some people, back in the day, we used to write phone numbers to lawyers' offices or legal defense because we knew that that was a better guarantee. If you get one call, then you better make it count. Why here? Because this is one of the least greasy parts of our body, and the marker is more likely to stay on the inner part of our arm. Okay, tip number 2, something that we always used to do back in the day when we were protesting for DACA, was that we would make sure that somebody near us had access to bail money. A lot of the civil disobedience that we were engaging in was putting us directly in the line of being arrested. At that point in time, we were recommending about $500 to $600 for bail. I'm not sure what it is today. If somebody can put it in the comments and let me know. But that's the other thing. If you don't have money to get arrested, don't get arrested. If you are going to plan to do a civil disobedience action, make sure that you think ahead. Can I afford this? Am I in a position of privilege to be able to do this? And just understand that it does come with consequences. You may have court dates, you may have a case. So think about all of that and decide if that's something that you're willing to do. Tip number 3 is, especially for those of my people who are in cold places, I'm in Chicago, find ways to stay warm. You don't know how long you're going to be out there. You can use hand warmers and put them in your gloves. You can wear snow boots. Even if it's not snowing, they'll keep your feet warmer than sneakers. And in addition to that, you can also wear plastic gloves under your gloves so that your hands stay warm. Are there any other tips that you have? Let me know in the comments.
They knew optics mattered. And I'm bringing this up because in the protests that are going on in Los Angeles, in which the Mexican national flag is prominently displayed, optics matter. And that optic is not the optic you want going out to the rest of the country and nation, particularly when the people who are attacking you and the people in charge of the people attacking you, all the way up to the White House, but also all across those state legislatures, those Republican governors, even Republicans in the state you live in, California, and of course, Fox, CNN, and MSNBC, they are pushing a narrative that the country is under invasion, and the optics they're using to support their story is people in Los Angeles waving the Mexican national flag. And just like I said, Black people have a right to display that American flag. Mexican Americans, in particular, amongst the Latino community, have a right to display the American flag. Your ancestors who were on this land before the American government took over. You endured being your people being, the atomic bomb tested on your land, on your people who were still there. Your property was stolen by the Los Angeles Dodgers. There was the Zoo Suit riots. I want to say maybe it was the 40s. Your movement to gain health care and fair wages for farm workers. I mean, you have done a lot. Display the American flag. It'll make your protests that much more visually acceptable to the rest of the country and the world.